everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa. And today I'm going to show you how you can paint this gorgeous fairy in winter woodland scene. So this is inspired by some designs from very old vintage cards that I found. Not a particular one, I redesigned it, but the little elements that were in them. And there was this collection of mushroom vintage Santa, gnome, and fairy cards that really captured my heart. And then also there was these really cute kind of 1960s, 1970s angels and fairies. And I was like, you know what we need to do? Put it all in one painting. So I did. And that's this design here. I really want this one sort of dedicated to that sense of gathering and coming together and magic, and maybe even in that sense coming back to ourselves. To help me do this is my husband, John.
Hello.
So when I teach these step-by-step lessons, John makes sure that you can see everything that's going on the canvas by pointing the camera at it, zooming in where necessary. That way you don't miss a color, mix a tool, a technique on any level. So if you're painting, I mean, it's almost better sometimes than painting with me in person because you can really see what's going on, because it would be weird for you to be like leaning over my shoulder that deeply sometimes to get those close-ups. So you're really going to be able to see what's happening. Yeah, it gets in them. It's a good thing I washed my hands. So... So good to see everybody here. This is the second to last show of the year.
Yeah.
And then we will be dark until sometime in the beginning of January. I have to wait and see. I sent out a nice newsletter kind of talking about that a little bit, and we'll do an end of the year newsletter so we can kind of look back. We've got a class tomorrow too, and I would love it if you guys made all these classes all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. Now, today on our materials, they're all listed in the description below. I have a particular paint out now. I'm not putting all the colors out till I need it, but you can find the complete list in the description and on the webpage. I have a 9x12 canvas, and I have wishes on this. I put up a post with a little video about coping with loss, dealing with loss. And I feel like 2020 and 2021, existentially, factually, just in every way, many people are really coming into this holiday dealing with that. And so I put up this video to share because it made me feel better, and it had really a strong reaction, and so I put this on my canvas. I am wishing strength for those going through loss in all its forms. I'm wishing strength for Casey and Lynn and Barbara and Kathy and Jeannie and Lisa and Darby. I wish this for all of you, and just for you to know that you're not alone. And then I just want to say personally, before we get into the art lesson, don't click away because I'm saying this. I am going to teach you how to paint this. In difficult times in my life where it wasn't financially possible for me to go in person, I used BetterHelp.com personally. This isn't sponsored. They don't know me. They ever talk to me. Well, they talk to me, but not for this video. But it really made a difference in my life when I needed it. And I can recommend that. And they have scale. They have sliding scale in their telecall. So it's really doable even if you are stuck in. And I just think nobody should try to face that big stuff alone. I don't think anyone should have to go through it alone. And that is my PSA announcement for the video as I sip my coffee. Hi, Irene. It's so good to see you. And Sandy, it's very good to see you. Sandy's husband elbowed her in her sleep. Yes.
This happens sometimes.
It does. Husbands. Or partners, just generally.
Partners, yeah. It happens.
All right. So, Bethany's saying thank you for posting supply lists that are not on Amazon. Yeah, I have a Dick Blick teachers list. Mm-hmm. You know, like
several
Amazon?
Different
and you can also you can use any of my lists as just a shopping guide and then just go cross shop everything to get the best prices. And that's always okay. I don't know why I'm whispering because it's always okay. All right. Let's talk about the paint. I'm going to start the background, the beginning of this.
Is this a step?
No, I'm still telling materials. Okay. With phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta, and titanium white. I'm going to be using a number 26 bright ruby satin. Now you can give it a step.
I see.
So we're going to throw up steps. The steps have two purposes in my videos. The first purpose is that we timestamp that, and that way you can find your place again. Later in the video, we get those done after. And then also we write out mini books, which are tiny little booklets, about 20, 30 pages of written out instructions for this video with step-by-step pictures. Those come about 7 to 10 days after. Do you know how many we published this year? I'm going to keep saying this. You're going to see it in the newsletter.
10?
128.
What?
Mm-hmm. released free to download written out instructions.
That seems like a
So,
lot.
yeah, that was my own idea.
And those were all free?
Those were all. You know what I did not bring myself, John?
Water? All right. Da-da-da. We're live, folks. I'm going to go fix that
This
problem.
is a live show where I teach painting, but it does go slow. And then people say, lady, stop talking. Just teach the art. We were so early. I was reading the Signals catalog to see if I wanted to buy some gnome lights. Where's my blouse from, Lulabella? Lulabelle, sorry, not Lulabella. That's my daughter's Lulabella. That's where you got me. This is Torrid, and it's from the Doctor Who collection over on Torrid, and they have some really great stuff right now. And I know that you should never wear a weeping angel because they can come and get you, but I had to. And then it has all the others, like the Daleks and the Cybermen and everything. So I got really into it, and I got at it. All right. Now we have to get my brush, and I'm going to take my wishes and just sort of make sure that those are blended in a little bit. Yeah, I'm all good. Those are Q-tips. I don't need those today, but, you know. I'm going to blend this in with my brush because I use watercolor pencil. That way the wishes would be put into the universe. I'm going to load up my brush with titanium white. And as you guys remember, that flip load where I flip the brush over is really helpful. That's how I get a deep load into my paint. I dip in water, get a drop, 2 drops, not 3 drops, but 1 drop. And then I'm going to begin brushing across the canvas at a diagonal angle from the upper right corner down towards the left.
Mm-hmm.
Whole canvas. And I want it to be streaky, if you're wondering.
All the streaks.
All the streak, all the time.
Oh, is this...
And also so much of it's covered that you just don't even have to worry about. It's just a background.
Was this step 1?
Didn't you step 1 me already? You did. And then I explained steps, and then I realized I didn't have water.
Okay.
Step 1 is just weird and awkward, but we did it.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And they'll be able to find it again on the timestamp.
All right. So next is just the streaks.
Just the streaks.
There was a
Just
song
the
about
streaks.
that.
Just the streaks.
Such an old song. Doop. Oh wait, that's not what I want to do. I want to go look over here. But I have to zoom out a little bit. Yeah, the over-the-shoulder camera's too bright right now. I'm gonna have to fix it in a minute.
I'm going to adjust it.
I'm gonna adjust it.
Whoa!
You can see it. I don't know if you can see it in the...
That's a little blown out.
Well, the overhead's good for you, but you just can't see the side room because I couldn't see it only.
All right. So here we go. And you can see I can come kind of back through and even it out anywhere. But what I'm really doing is applying a sort of streaky, diagonal-tastic, total technical term there, guys, coat of paint across the canvas. And that gives me just this background sky that I can begin from. Right? Now, it is a good idea to dry the surface at this stage. So I'm going to dry it, and then we'll go on to the next step. And I want to say, I see Ashley, Birdie from Discord wanted me to tell you, and Cinnamon and John, hello. Will you tell Birdie over on Discord, Ashley, that I said hello too? Discord is a chatting app where we can share pictures. Melissa wants to know how many hoots this painting. I think it's 2. I feel like it's 2. I've done it a couple times now. I feel like it's 2. But remember, you can always go to the website and vote your opinion on it. And like if I'm wrong, you can upvote or downvote a painting. And you guys do, which I really appreciate. It helps other painters. I'm going to dry down.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
Let the wind blow.
There she goes. I hit the wrong mute button. I was hitting my own mute button. So, hello, everybody. How you doing? Don't forget to check link in the descriptions down below where you can find traceables, the materials list, all that kind of stuff. We'll keep stepping everything. Hello to everybody out there in painting land. I see all the folks in chat and stuff. It's really nice to have you folks with us. Continue to just drop your questions there, and our moderators will try to catch them, and we'll try to answer them here on the show because that's what we do. Because we're live, as you can tell, and this is totally rehearsed as I turn my mobile.
We have original artwork for sale on the website, as Ashley is reminding us. It's true, and you guys got a newsletter, so there's 2 newsletters before the end of the year. Sorry. Oh. Am I talking? Okay. Am I here? I can't see if I'm visible or not because the chat's over me.
Visible right now.
Okay. Why?
Like this.
Can they hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, Laura says, I can't wait to paint this on replay because I'm out of white paint. I swear I go through more white than any other color. You do. You're not hallucinating. It takes twice as much titanium white as it does any other color you have. It's just one of those things. Dioxazine purple lasts forever. And Sandy would like you to throw up the reference when you can.
Will do.
And it's in your newsletter, guys. I make sure that on that one I sent the traceables, the references, the materials list in the newsletter too.
Okay.
So
we're
it's
now
good to
ready
open
for,
those if you get them.
Ready for the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're stepping it. Look at us go.
And referencing it.
Okay.
Now, if you're using the traceable from the website, this is where you would use the transfer method. I'm going to sketch this in and tell you how I do it so you can do that with me. But if you're just wanting to do the traceable, which isn't cheating, it really isn't, this would be when you would want to do that in the project. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of my ultramarine blue, just a little bit of it. And I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side and slope down, also on the left, kind of sloping and sloping a little bit of a snowbank for which, creatures could be on.
Yes.
Have to be on a snowbank if there's no snow. And this is a very light, sketchy thing. If you want to use chalk instead of paint, you can absolutely do that. Now I'm going to come up here and say the top of my mushroom I would very much like to be around here. And I'm going to make a little bell shape. Your mushroom does not have to look exactly like my mushroom. As I remember I said this, all the trees in the forest, they're all the same tree, but they're not alike. All the mushrooms in the forest are all the same mushroom, but they might not be alike.
They're a fruit.
They're fruit. Their fruits might feel very different.
Well,
so when I do the bell, I want to do an ellipse on the interior of the mushroom, which is sort of a squish circle.
Technically, they're not a fruit like you think. They're the fruiting body of a mushroom, blah, blah, blah. So,
Because all of the magic is in the mycelial network that you can travel through space.
Right.
And Stamens Drive.
Look, Stamets is a really genius dude.
Yes, genius.
Paul Stamets is awesome. So you guys know he's done more mycelial research and brought...
I'm making a Star Trek reference. John is talking about the researcher.
And so there's this scientist dude who did all this research on mushrooms and has brought them really to the forefront of this stuff. And
he's brilliant. That's why they named it after him. I'm going to come inside my mushroom. I'm going to take a couple lines a little past my ellipse line so I can kind of make a little, ooh, you're attached here. And I'm going to bring the stem down to the ground somewhere. Doesn't have to be perfect to the ground, but it's down to the ground somewhere. And when I have that where I want it, it is easier to make the mushroom bigger than it is to make it smaller. Right? So that would be the easiest thing to do. And I can always, I'll show you, come in and kind of touch up any boo-boos if you do it with paint with your background color.
you could hear that soapbox calling my name, couldn't you?
Oh, I knew it was. I knew you were going to be like on it and on it and on it. What I'll say about the Discovery generation on Star Trek is that they are doing groundbreaking storylines and really, once again, in the spirit of Gene Roddenberry, talking about diversity and tolerance as Star Trek always has.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the whole messaging that Gene Roddenberry always put forward, which that's a whole universe, but we're all alive and in it together. All right.
Space mushrooms.
Irene says, I painted my first nutcracker and gingerbread house yesterday. Wee, drawing is fun. Yes, it is fun. It's fun. Step 3. In the space. So, you have kind of sketched in your mushroom. You know where that's going to be. You've, come in. I might raise my landscape up a bit. I can do that. Sometimes I'll look at something and be like, nah, you be bigger. When I have that in, I'm going to load up just ultramarine blue, right? So I have my phthalo blue here. I have my ultramarine blue over here. And let's come in, and I'm going to make a line from the right on the toe of the brush, a few inches in, maybe 3-4 inches in. And then I'm going to fan out little brush strokes that feather towards the end. See how I let the brush stroke flick out and it gives me these little feathery pine needle effects? Just ultramarine blue.
So nice to see everyone out there today.
It really is nice to see everybody today. And I'm on my cat's tongue brush again. This is a number 8 Art Sherpa cat's tongue. Get them while they exist. And then for balance, I'm going to come over here and add a little inward one. Sometimes I like to do the counterposing ones just so I can make sure that my canvas has balance to it. It must have balance within the force. Brushing that out. It's kind of like fanning it. You can always come to the center. I can add little edges there. These are the pine branches that are circling our mushroom. They circle it. So and they should be short. They should be long. They should have variety. And they do layer over each other. It's just a flicking stroke on the edge of the brush. See, I'm just flicking that out. Let me do it real slow. So if I were to bring a branch down here, I take the brush along its edge and flick.
Flick.
And then I come from the center and I go flick, 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 flick. And I make a little fan of the flick. You could do this with a round brush, a bright brush, any brush you want. The stroke is more important than the brush here.
There's something philosophical in these words there, Sherpa.
It really is. Something in the words. I'm just going along. So I can tell you what my latest obsession is. Besides, obviously The Witcher's back on Netflix. So I'm into The Witcher. If you watch it, you may not watch it. So The Witcher's back. I'm really loving this season so much. But I've gotten really sucked into podcasts recently, which is it's like 1940s radio, but like on my phone. You probably knew about this podcast thing already. And I mean, I kind of heard about it, but I just thought it was like opinion radio, for which I just really can't use my time for that. But then when I found out it's like stories that people act out with soundscapes, I'm like, what? And I'm like Dark Woods, and I'm on Bridgewater, and I did Strawberry Spring from Stephen King. I am in deep, and I was like, because I can only do so much true crime, and I really can only do so much opinion. So listen to my opinion on these shows. What?
You know how someone's really into something? Because, like you're their partner. So you see them go through the phase where they're interested, and then they tell their partner they're interested. Then they tell, like, their kids they're interested about it. And then they tell
everyone
in their immediate, like, their mom and their dad and their in-laws. And then, because I have this unique perspective, then they tell their community. So I get to see all the layers of Cinnamon's
obsessions. I really like these, though. I do. I'm enjoying my podcast. So yes, The Witcher season 2 is fantastic, but I'm really in. Oh, and Irene, a lot of us are watching The Wheel of Time, Irene. That's been really good. They really spent some money on that. I love it when they put some money into science fiction or fantasy, because that's, it just needs to look good.
4.5 hours of Lord of the Ring, episode 2.
That's how we go to sleep. We just walk to Mordor. With some hobbits and a halfling. A really mentally ill halfling. Somebody needs to get him some help. End of the year, isn't it?
Is this like a step or something?
What's a step?
Okay, we got to step it. 4.
Wheel of Time, the show. Yeah, not the book.
Okay.
Karen, I know there's a story, and this is the Wheel of Time on Amazon, I think. Yeah.
And you're going to do some stuff about next colors for people with, once beyond the primaries.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, there was a bunch of folks who were just asking.
Like, is there going to be more?
Like
more techniques and
I'll
learning?
Give you a specific. Leia says hello.
Hello there.
Okay. Um, what blue, red, yellow colors do you suggest after the basics? I finished the basic class. What browns? We got to know how to expand the palette.
Well, interestingly enough, I have a palette that I use for Acrylic April that I've brought to my whole community, and there's a couple colors past that, but it is my core color set. So if you do we have anything on Acrylic April we can share? So
I'm sure
that we can find that, and then we can get that to you, because it has that list. The only one you could opt in or out of was maybe the Naples yellow, and you could switch it out for CAD yellow light or lemon yellow. I like the Naples yellow or tight knit yellow. That's really a preference of me.
if you want
This
fun,
layer is like the last layer, but we're going to add white. So I'm going to take the same number 8 cat's tongue, and I'll start on the left,
Cinnamon wants to teach something.
and I'm going to layer it out. No, it's just, I have a palette.
I'm just teasing you.
All right, I'm teaching here. So I'm going to flick here. When I come on this flick, I don't want to take the blue out. All right, and I want to layer things up a bit. It's a drier brush on this side because I want things to kind of show through. And so you do want your branches to have, like a little personality.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay to move back on that fan stroke and let a lot show through.
Staline was saying, I've decided to use up those old liquid craft toll paints to tone backgrounds on my canvases, just sitting there. Why not?
Oh, no, that's a perfect use of that. That's a very, very good use.
Underpaintings, yeah.
Very, very good use.
And this is the layer of
white.
cold tree.
It's a tree be cold. Right? Tree is cold. Look. Just whatever brush you did the first part of the tree in, you do the second part of the tree in. And if you feel like you messed up any area, you just come back through with a little blue.
Little blue. Makes more layers.
That's all we got to do to get some branchy, bushy, little piney layers. It's a very easy, very, friendly to us step.
Do you need to dry it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll let you dry it and sip your coffee. So, while she's drying that, don't forget to fully dry your surfaces between these layers because it can pick up the colors and smear, and that would make these not look sharp and poppy. So, yeah, make sure that you thoroughly dry it. That way you have really crisp little leaves.
Barbara Owens wants to know when the traceable's on the website. It was there before this show. I have to link it into the video page, but it's in the traceables tab. So I did today's and tomorrow's. They're already up because I know sometimes it's nice to have that early. The train is there if you were looking for that, and I'm going to find some more references for the train for you.
And this is a step, yeah?
Step
5.
Step 5. I'm going to use a fluffy brush.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to use a hog bristle brush for the next part. This is a number 12 silver stone round. You could probably also get away with something like this, like a Raphael Paris Classic, or you could really do this one, the Raphael Artigiani. You can see it's very close in temperament to this. This one's just a little bit chunkier, which is why I'm grabbing it. And we're going to come in and kind of start to put in the snow. The snow is a little bit of my ultramarine blue and quinacridone magenta, just slightly purpled. And then we're going to come here and brush in with our rough brush stroke our snow. You can use any brush you have. You just want a brush that kind of gives you a rough effect. Sometimes a sponge, if you don't have good hog brushes, will work really well too. You can do some pretty cool effects with a sponge. I have a whole series of paintings that I did with sponges, just sponges and no brushes. just to challenge myself. Everybody else was making pancakes that looked like stuff, and I'm like, I will paint with only a sponge. Deb Maxwell, thank you so much. That is really generous.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And it's so good to see Ambient Landscapes Day and Mary Myers and Jet Butterfly and Karen and Amy.
There's a wonderful content here. There is a wonderful comment here from Wendelin.
From Wendelin.
She says, Cinnamon John, thank you so much for the Christmas paintings. My family has lost 4 members this year, and our hearts are heavy this holiday season. Thank you for sharing the painting. Has helped out.
I am so glad to have helped in any way. And, don't carry that alone. Keep reaching for help and getting help anywhere you can. So many families. I'm present to it because I read comments from so many people around the world. And I can tell you, I've been online for 7 years, and people have gone through a lot the last 2. Like, for real. Really through a lot. And, I don't have to look anywhere or read an article to know that, because I can just look at my inbox and read what people are going through. And, I'm just glad to help anybody if I can help at all. I am taking the pink and the ultramarine, and I'm making a purple, and then I'm adding a little white. It's almost like a lilac.
I have to say thank you guys for making it possible for us to do this by coming and viewing and liking and commenting, subscribing, doing the human things, but mostly just hanging out and chatting, painting and sharing those paintings, helping us know what to better do to help you. Help us help you. Share your
But
paintings.
it is true, though.
Yeah, share your paintings. It's like what's what we care about most, and we love doing this. So the
I
more
do
you
really
share,
love it.
the more we can share.
I thank you, Deb Maxwell. I really appreciate that. You do a lot for my mental health too. I love your upbeat posts on Facebook. They're amazing. And Karen, thank you also. If I can help at all, I'm very happy to, and I'm very honored that sometimes I get to. I'm very blessed in that way. I thank the universe every day for what we get to do, and that it makes a difference. It's just as I sit here in the middle of my cup of coffee, monologuing. But it's true. I do get up every day and thank the universe for this chance to be what I get to be in other people's lives. It's just changed my whole experience as a human being completely. John's too.
Yeah, I think you guys can do a paint party on Discord. Jen was asking. I think it's possible if you guys can. We can
maybe.
Let's chat about the technical challenges around that later. I'm sure we can figure it out. That we can stream to anything.
Yeah. And that would be kind of fun. I know we didn't enjoy Zoom. I'll tell you that right now. Was not our favorite. And to have the services we needed, we had to pay quite a lot of money a month to get all the features we needed to work with our stuff.
Yeah, I could have gotten sharks with lasers in a tank for the same price.
It's like texting. You're just like, what? Really? Are you sure? Because that doesn't seem right. And they were like, no, it's right. Looking for my black.
So you gonna tell everybody what we're gonna do?
Yes, I am. I'm just putting in a few more colors, and
Is
then
that
we're
gonna
gonna
be the next step when we do that, though?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the next step, and then tell everybody the colors I just put out, and then we're gonna do the next step.
Did you dry this, or do you need to dry it?
No, don't need to dry it. It's
Okay.
dried pretty quick.
I'm
You
just
may need
asking.
to dry at home. I don't need to dry. Mine is dry. Dry. So dry.
And a step.
Step 6. Thank you so much for being here in my life, guys. It's just been the coolest to hang with you. All right. I put out burnt sienna, cad red medium, cad yellow medium. I still have phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta, Mars black, and titanium white. And I'm still using the number 12 Silverstone brush. But I'm going to rinse it and wipe it out. Will we get some studio live streaming in the new year? Loved it. Yes, and patrons may see me before the new year. You guys might be invited into a design session.
Informal
Yeah.
Like, because we don't have to
The hot
keep it.
mess, the hot mess lives that we do with patrons, because they're not really teaching; they're just watching me design. That definitely probably before the new year, because I have to design for 2022. So much work to do.
All right, what are we doing there?
Does anyone know how to make caps lock on an iPad?
I think you double tap the shift.
All right, now real quick, I'm going to take my just my number 8 cat's tongue and kind of remind myself where my mushroom grows, so that when I paint this next part in, I know where it went. Like, ooh, this is where my mushroom is. I'm going to continue on with my nice big brush, and I'm going to get a little more blue. Kind of put a little bit of stuff afoot here. And then I may come even in with some white. And just very lightly dry brush over my snow. The trick here is notice that I'm wiggling the brush. The brush is dry. I'm letting a lot of the depth show through. And that's going to help it feel like the snow that it is. Snow kidding.
Emily loves the informal design and chat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
I'm doing the work anyways.
May as well hang out with us.
You'll probably see several things that never make the show. You'll get like a sense of like, oh wow, a lot of stuff doesn't make the show. I have many ideas that are like, good idea, good idea, good idea, running up the hill and then down the hill. Bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. Didn't work, didn't work, didn't work, didn't work. So just trying to create that sense of rough layering through here. Let John get up on it kind of close so you can see the effect that we are going for. See that effect there?
Oh, let me get it. My focus is like, there we go. See it?
Cinnamon, you don't suppose you'd be willing to do a tangled lantern sometime next year? Oh my gosh, Amy. I don't know. You're right. You're right. I gotta catch up on star gnomes. I have some catch up to do.
I have no idea what that's even.
I make 200 videos a year and I still have catch up to do. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, I know. Don't even mention the cat that was the fox girl.
She's fine. She will be finished. It's just 50 years.
She went to Hawaii and took a little vacation. She'll be back.
Are we going to, Lori wants to know if we're going to do any more make paint tutorials. We might.
Yes. We have time.
And Lynn says, I want to say you helped me lock my lockdown trauma and my kids actually see I have more depth than being mom. Yeah, kids got to see us as people. And thank you, Heather C. Are we all ready?
I don't know. Is this the next step?
Next step. Let's continue on. So I'm going to want to begin to paint in my mushroom. You know, give it a finish, give it a go. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I'm going to start it with my cat's tongue because it covers up a lot and does a good job. I'm going to begin with a little bit of my red. Now, if you have very inexpensive paints that have a great deal of difficulty coloring over other things, go ahead and paint your whole mushroom white here. Mine don't, and I'm going to go direct. But if you have at all of a hard time, yeah, you definitely want to go white first, and then dry it, and then paint this part. So you pause, do that if that's what you have to do, and then come back. But if you're painting with me, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit of black into our red. And paint a mushroom cap.
So Jane was like, can I use gouache to try this first? Because I'm scared to try my acrylics, and it's hard for me to finish stuff.
Yeah, gouache often does a lot of the same techniques as acrylics.
So yeah, you can like...
It just lifts again, and acrylics don't, but it has many of the same opaque layers.
And I don't know if you're like many of us, Jane, but we're gamers. And sometimes if you think of a tube of paint as unearned experience points, like... it's good to get the tube empty because that means you've earned all those experience points.
Ooh, and you level up.
And like, yeah, so, you know.
I want to talk to you after the show. You just gave me an idea.
Cinnamon's like, ding, 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 ding. I have an idea.
See, you made me get an idea going. All right. So we've got that there. I'm just going to let that go. So what you're looking for is kind of a deep brick red color. Right. I'll come here and get a little bit of yellow into my deep brick red color. I'm going to come into my mushroom stem, going right over my blue line. Get a little brown into it if you need to. You may not. Oh, I boo-booed there. I'll fix that in a second. I got paint on my hand and then I got it on the canvas. Add a lot more yellow into that mix, and then you can even get a little white into there.
Mm.
All right, look at that. A little bit of the beginning of a stem. We're just starting. It's just the beginning of the stem. I'm going to fix my little boo-boo. You did not happen. What you? No, nothing happened there. And look for the culprit of where it got on my hand. Okay. The next part that I want to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow into my red. It's okay if the brown mix gets into it because this is that first layer. I'm going to paint the underside of the mushroom with this kind of orangish color. If I have to get a little white in there to get coverage, I will. I got a little too much water in my brush, and that's what, sometimes if you're painting, you're like, man, that's not enough coverage, but you were having coverage earlier, it's probably too much water in your brush. In this particular case, it's an underpainting, so don't really have to care. I just need to get this basic 3 tones of paint in. Because that's the basics of the mushroom. So, red and black for the cap to a dark brick color. Adding a lot more yellow and even a little brown for the stem, white if you need to, and then back into kind of a muddied orange for underneath the cap. And that was all within the burnt sienna, cad red, cad yellow, and a little titanium white space and a little Mars black. That's how we got there. Karen, sorry, a bit unrelated, but I love this platform where she's visible as she's doing the art. Can you please tell me which platform she's? Can you go back? I can't see that. Scroll past what I can see.
She was asking how we do what we do, and the answer to that is magic. We teach art, not YouTube.
Oh, which thing? Like which platform?
How we do what we do. Like all this stuff behind this. Just ignore the guy behind the green curtain because he spent years and years and years putting this together. And I don't teach it.
For reasons. So many good reasons. So many. We used to even, people used to call us and ask questions, and then they realized that we had kind of a Dr. Frankenstein setup here, and it was not helpful.
Yeah.
Is what we've learned.
What was great is when we had PBS out here, and they were like, don't change anything except for this one mic thing, and they were all like, yes, this is very, very good.
It's crazy. It is a crazy, crazy bit of mayhem. But my advice is if you're trying to figure out how to do this, the best advice out there for at-home solutions that are not crazy is gaming. The gamers, when they do tutorials on their streaming services and their streaming hardware, their Black Magics and all of that, check that out because those reviews are on point and they're up to date and they're doing it for a living for huge scales of money. And their advice is much better for that at-home space of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to dry my canvas.
You dry your canvas. Okay. And for the rest of you, welcome to the Wizard of Stuntans's land, where we do all sorts of crazy things like steps and, I don't know, we teach you guys like how to get the Sherpa to stand on your head. Yay! Okay, but when we're not doing that, we probably should be teaching some art, so you can find link in the description below. You can do all the human-y things like subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And we would appreciate that because that helps us let us do what we do. Do.
Oh, and the other thing I want to say, if you're a YouTuber, do not forget to check the YouTube creator resources, those blogs, because they update those a lot and they work with creators and they'll give you like the most friendly to work with YouTube, or Facebook has a similar thing. And just don't like those resources. I use them all the time. I don't teach YouTube, but they do, and they do it well. Does that make sense?
Step in.
Step it.
Step in. We are here.
We are here, and we will soon be there, and we will be everywhere. I'm looking for... I'll do a grass comb because I don't know where my filbert grainer is. And I'll get my blender out. Okay. So now we're going to get a little more serious in the biz with our mushroom. And I'm going to use my most favorite, my precious, my Princeton Select Round Blender. It's a really cool brush. You can get these at Joann's and Michael's and all kinds of different places, anywhere the Princeton line of Select brushes are sold. If you're looking for it, you're looking for the Select series by Princeton. I don't work with them or anything. They just is a really good brush. I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet, and I'm going to get some of my yellow pulled to the side into a clean area and a little bit of my red. And we're going to make kind of a nice bright orange. And I'm going to come over my brick red with this nice bright orange. Look at me go. And I'm going to make little soft blending strokes. If you have a different blending brush or round brush to do that here, you could do that here as well. But what we're doing is we're creating kind of a sense of glow in the mushroom. There we're doing. So it kind of makes a little crescent moon there. Then I can get more red into the mix and sort of blend it in using the round blender. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I don't know why that's exciting to me, but it is.
Because it's round.
Because it's round. And I really like it. You can always get a little more of the light orange again. And blend, blend, blend. So acrylic paint can be challenging to blend. I have a lot of videos on it. I will make more in the new year, I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. I have to break this blender in. This is my broken in blender. This is a new one. See the difference?
Gotta break my blender in.
I do. It has too much spirit. I gotta Yellowstone this. Man, I tried to watch Yellowstone, and I have to say the violence against animals was too much for me, man. Just couldn't do it. I'm like, can we just go back to hurting humans? Because I don't think I have the heart for this.
Irene would like to know if that blender is dry.
The blender is mildly damp. Mildly damp. Not dry. Mildly damp. What's funny?
Lulabelle says her husband's snoring on the sofa, and it's hard to not say TikTok.
That would be a wrong thing to do.
It would. We would not condone that.
I mean, I might condone it a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of my red and just a smidge of my black. Come very carefully on the outsides.
It's like college dorms all over again. Don't fall asleep in a public space, for else you might wake up on something on your face.
I had this like crazy conversation with Spire where I'm like, never, but don't do any of that. Like that is assault and not okay. I don't care what prank you think you got going.
I would
I'm going
have
to
to
add
say.
some just pure red. So what I'm doing is I'm creating kind of an ombre in the cap. And I'm layering and blending here. See how it's layering and blending? And then when you go into the pure cad red, it really pops, doesn't it? It really, really pops.
Hmm. That's really. I like the. I like the layering.
I like it too. It was a really nice effect when I did it in the study, and I was like, I will continue doing it because I really like it.
I'm ready for the fire to turn back on.
Are you? You
Mm-hmm.
cold?
You making me cold by painting this cold mushroom scene.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I did
okay.
not know that was going to be a side effect. So this is just what we're doing. We're just making it kind of, orange in the center, and you warm it up.
It's not your fault. It's your mad skills.
My mad, I don't know if I have mad skills, but what I do have is time on my hands. You need to add maybe like a little kind of hot spot of yellow here. Let's see how that blending goes. It's pretty nice blending today. When the blending is all done, I will definitely want to take a number 4 round. I'm going to use my Art Sherpa round. And I'm going to get my red kind of loaded up on there. I don't mind if it has a little bit of the toning from the black in it. And I'm going to come along this lip.
There's a. Oh, good. That's nice. There we go. See the lip.
And just make sure the edge of my mushroom is lovely. Right? I'm going to just make sure that the edge of the mushroom is lovely even as we go. All right, let's call that a step. That is the cap.
That would be the cap.
The cap. We're not doing the spots on the cap yet because we still got to do inside in the. Are they called gills? What are they called?
Gills.
Brenna!
The little pleats underneath.
Lilibel's doing a Snoopy Doctor Who mashup. Please tell me that. Oh man, post that. I have to see it. You have to share.
That would be good. Yes, share.
Patron grooves, share. Share.
What was it? Oh, Discord party over the break. We'll talk about that later. Paint on, Sherpa.
Okay. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to begin working the stem. The stem, if you remember, is into our kind of oranges, and we get a little brown into that. Right? We're making those little mushroom stemmy colors, as you do. And come on the back side, nice long strokes. You can even get a little deeper into the brown here. Warm it up a bit with a little bit of red and yellow. This is great to practice values and things. I should hand my phone. It says time to stand. Excuse me. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if we're set for that. Give me more of a heart attack than anything. I don't think you have. It's like.
Add more white to it.
Are you even wearing pants?
Yes. I'm not you. I don't consider it a personal challenge to not wear pants all day, Mr. Goldberg.
I go through my day in underwear, and you will never know, because I am behind the green screen. I tell you what, since we moved here, I made it a personal challenge to be in my pajamas all day. And it wasn't until someone said, "Stop it!"
You were like, oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All right. So I'm going to continue to add some white and come to this outside edge here. Kind of brush that up and down in a loose and open kind of way. See how that creates a nice little texture there? It's a nice little texture. All right. I'm going to actually hand you my watch, though, to charge.
Okay. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it did tell me to stand, and I was like, gosh, should I? I always meet my stand goals, but I'm like, Heather C's like, time to coffee up.
You're still in the same step, still going. Because that was just a little bit of...
Yeah, I like the blenders I like for just a variety of things. I'm going to do some fun recommendation videos and some stuff like that I'm inspired by. I got into some lip stain recommendations on TikTok, and I realized, oh, I should do that for art supplies the way they were doing it. I'm inspired by many other creators. Just they're the ones that accuse me of it. Which I don't know if that means that I'm not doing a good job, like tipping my hat to where my inspiration comes from. Like I'm not doing good enough. Maybe that is what it means. But yeah, I'm going to do some cool stuff with that. And I love the round blenders. They're really cool. I love my dome scumblers, these here, because they're so rough and scumbly. And, you know, they're not going to exist forever. And, like, here's that was the test one. This is the original test one that I tested. So I love that. So lovely. Okay. Are we new step or? No, new step. New step.
We have infinite steps so you can step away.
I'm going to get into this. You could use a filbert here if you don't have this. This is a grass comb. You could use a filbert grainer as well. Basically, this is a filbert where there's little snips out of the bristles that will make fine lines. And take a little yellow down here to my red. What's funny? And I'm going to take this. I'm going to curve this. My daughter. Oh, is it Lunavella over in Discord?
Yeah.
She's so excited to be over there. She getting us canceled?
No.
You continue on. And so I go on the side and I'll curve these. When I'm on this side here at this edge, I will curve downward and then continue to curve back towards the stem as I come around.
Yep.
As I make the arc, I'll curve towards the left-hand side. As it approaches the apex or center, the brushstroke straightens out. And then as I come over towards the right, the brushstroke curves again towards the right and then towards the stem as we come back. And that's how we start to get the perspective of the gills. I'm going to come in from the edge here. A little bit more red. And brush that in. And you can see the edge of my filaments kind of break open. And that helps give that sense of little defined fine gills. You could do this with a tiny fine brush.
Yeah.
Or just a round brush. But that's the effect that you're going for. You that cold? I'm inside the tent of warmness. You're saying my tent is insulated like an igloo? Oh, that's so funny. I'm going to continue to do this. So this is opposing, coming back into the brushstrokes that we went out, but we still follow that same kind of curve. I'm going to come in and get quite a lot of yellow.
We have more gill work to do.
We have so much more gill work to do.
Yeah. Amy says this is really helping. No, was it Ashley? Ashley was saying that this is really good.
Yeah, I like it. It's just, I think these are fun to paint. Like just the winter mushroom itself is just a fun subject to paint. So this outer edge now is going to be more yellow. Again, this is a filbert grass comb. Princeton makes a filbert grainer that does the same thing in the Select series, I think. Might be in a different series. And then we come back around, you can see the swoop back in.
Swoop.
That's swoop. There it is.
It's a mushroom.
I have painted a lot of mushrooms over the years on this show. I have painted even more glowing mushrooms.
Fungi was my favorite.
That was the first one, was the fungi.
Fungi!
Because he's a wild and crazy guy. Oh, I just did Steve.
You did?
I did.
He's not a Disney property, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, I'm going to continue to come back here with a little more red. And blend that in. And you can see how that's just starting to help those little gills appear. Little brown. Oh, that's too much water on my brush. And that will happen from time to time. And now what I'm going to do is just very carefully suck that up because I don't want that there. I'll go ahead and take a little of my brown and black, perhaps. And make some little rough marks. These are little hatches. Kind of talk about the scaling and discoloration on a mushroom. Mm. And I'm going to put out my golden fluid acrylic titanium white as well at the stage because I'll be using that throughout the painting. So that's good to have around. And then I'm going to tap up and down with this brush, making kind of like a little line there. Very lightly. Starting to define those moments. This is a light hand here.
See, I like that shading of the gills.
Ooh, that's a little heavy. Got a little crazy there. That one was a little harsh. So I just come back with a damp brush and lift that right back up. And then as we come back through, we will continue to kind of paint that back and it will vanish out and be not a problem. See? Now I'm going to get into my white. Do it if I have to. Yeah, a little more yellow. And I'm going to come under here. And pull down this sort of roughly skirt.
That's where the little veil detached from the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the gills deployed. Whoosh, and that's the little veil protects all the little spores from falling out before they're too mature, until they mature.
Yeah, well, good to know.
I thank you, Paul Stamets.
Then you know that.
A book that I got to read about it.
I rinsed out my brush, and now I'm just getting some white on there. I'm going to come back from the other end. And I'm going to bring some lacing up. Isn't that fun how that works?
That's interesting.
Just so pretty and so easy to do. And who does not love that, right? Maybe also do some hatching down here.
Yeah.
Right? Hatching.
Hatchet.
Hatchening. So there's some nice texture on that mushroom. Back into my yellow. I'm dipping my brush in water to thin it. I want it to be thin enough to work with. Coming back, creating a little yellow highlight. At the edge here. Little yellow, little red. Load up on the edge. A little more red.
Karen says, I love how you teach these techniques that we can duplicate. Let me start over. She says, I love how you teach these techniques that we can duplicate. It makes me so much more successful.
I'm so glad. I am really glad. That is the goal. I'm going to continue. I think about it all the time, and when stuff works, I definitely want to do it more. I am motivated to do it more. When I have this here, maybe back into my black and brown again a little bit. And then on like 1 drop of water on my brush to thin it. Just make sure I have good shading. And then we're going to do an interesting thing. We're going to come here. And kind of tip this little white edge with a little bit of black. I bring some lines up to sort of show some ruffles. And you can always come there. Alrighty. We only have the white dots left to do. So let's call this step. When we come back, we'll add the dots to the cap. Alrighty, this is a pretty cool little mushroom, right? We're letting the gills dry so we can do the gill highlights with the fluid paint. So coming back, we're going to get back into our domed little brush here. And I'm going to take a little of my ultramarine blue and titanium white. The brush is lightly damp, but not wet. I'm going to make a very light color. And then create little diffused white spots around the mushroom. So these apparently used to be very connected to the Santa Claus story, because reindeer would eat them and get all crazed.
It would probably be more apt to say that medicine men and guides. So it's a combination of
my information is just from the internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, sort of anthropologically speaking, I don't know how much of this you really want to know.
Well, that's what the Google is for.
That's what the Google's for.
All right, so I'm going to continue to kind of put these around a few places. And so this is an off-white little dotting. You do as many or as few dots as make you happy in your heart. I'm going to allow this to dry for just a second, and I'm going to load up my little grass comb again. Right, and then we're going to come here. Very lightly highlight some of the gills. Very lightly. We're highlighting some of the gills. You do want that to be streaky, so that makes the gills pop. If ever it gets away from you, I just come back so I can kind of blend that with a little bit of yellow so they're not too oopsie. So sometimes I'll have to do that where I'll be like, oh, come here a little bit. And so it shouldn't take too long for your little spots to be able to take the next coat of paint. And I'm going to come back with just some white. and give the off-white a little bit of highlight. Why do I do that? I don't know. It just looks nice. When I did some research on these, I noticed that their little spots had like dimensionality to them. So I was like, I wanted to duplicate that. So that's just a thing I do there. Guess what?
What's that?
You have painted the mushroom.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Sorry for missing the picture-in-picture on that last step.
Man, I know I pulled my sponge up here because I did it before the show, and I'm sure that I did, but now I don't know where it went in all this chaos. Know that I did. Because I saw it, I touched it, I played with it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I knew I did. My pouncer. All right. We're going to dry this, though. Did you already step?
No.
Okay. So we're dry it, and then we're going to step.
We'll dry, and then we'll let her gather her thoughts. We'll give her a step and go from there. I really like these mushrooms. These are very pretty. I like them a lot. You could add all sorts of things hiding behind it. Yeah, it's lots of ideas out there in chat. So thank you guys.
Maybe use watercolor pencil. I can see it better. So I want to kind of know where my fairies are going to be. Are you going to step? Where did I go?
I broke the thing.
Okay.
I fixed it.
I
gotta
fixed
push
it.
this button. And then I gotta push this button. Did I step you?
Step me.
Step you.
You may have, but I didn't see it. Okay. I want to know where my fairies are going to be, so I'm going to kind of draw in some gesture. I think I made my mushroom higher this time. So that'll happen. And I'm going to make a little circle about the size of a dime. This was with watercolor pencil. 2 little upward lines. I just need to know where the dress is and the wings are. And her little friend is going to be close to her, but counterbalance that way. And wing out, wing out, wing out, wing out. And then our little friend will be here. Maybe put her a little bit forward. And her little body goes out. She's wing up, wing up. So that's where those little fairies are going to go. And I'm doing that just so I don't stick a bunch of very complicated glow dots where I'm going to paint like 2 seconds later. I'm going to get my Cad Yellow Medium on a round pouncer sponge. And I'm going to mix a little white into that. Just so that there's some dimensionality. Sometimes I have to go through if there's too much of a spot on the thing. I gotta like kind of bring it out. And here's a fun trick if you didn't know. You can mist your sponge. The paint doesn't completely dry out on it. Things I've learned over the years. So I'm going to put one here. A twist, counter twist. Twist, counter twist. Twist, counter twist. Twist, counter twist.
That's cool.
Twist, counter twist. I think that's all I'm going to do on here. And I'm going to make sure that I rinse my sponge out. Thank you, Karen. Irene's talking about mushroom gravy, and Carly says, I can picture a Santa gnome sitting on that mushroom. Santa gnome would look very cute on that mushroom. And I have a gnome sitting on a mushroom, Nighty Night Gnome, that you could just drop on the scene really easily with no difficulty. I mean, like really seriously easily. I'm now going to take a detail brush, a small detail brush. And I'm going to paint little kind of sparkle lights coming out. This is a number 1 Art Sherpa using my fluid paint. This is the little glow in the magic. Little glow in the magic. And then when I have that in, I can just put a little dot right in the center. See how we glowed the magic?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, it's magic. I know. Do as straight as you can. Use a T-square if it's not coming together. I get a little quiet during this just because I'm concentrating.
Mm. That makes sense. Focused. Because you want to make the lines all nice. Oh, all nice.
Yeah. And so just a little bit of focus to get that done. I'm going to come here and kind of come around, do the other side. Oh, that one did not work. So I'll just try to get that at an angle where I have a better sense of straight control. As you paint for a while, you'll realize that you have a brushstroke directionality for which you are stronger. And that is okay.
Yeah.
That's very nice, isn't it?
It is nice.
All right. Another one going on up into the mushroom.
So if you don't have a detail brush, you have a suggestion?
Toothpick.
Toothpick?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good.
Be very careful and use a toothpick. Very careful and use a toothpick. Let's call this a step.
Okay.
Put everything back where it goes. Sip our coffee.
Sip your coffee. Ah. And we call it a step.
And release. Remember to not to hold your breath, just to be relaxed in the painting process. Another thing I've seen people do very successfully is use a card, like a credit card, dipped in paint to make the lines. They just won't have the break in the center. But credit card's going to give you straight lines all the way around.
Hmm.
So no matter how you do, you're going to be good. Let's add some stuff in the snow.
In the snow.
I'm going to get a little bit of my yellow and my white, and I'm going to come here. And I'm going to pile up a little bit of snow that's aglow along the mushroom. I'm also going to kind of wiggle some out here. This is just trying to say like the mushroom is a little glowy, and so it's making some light. You can always tone the yellow with a little bit of purple. You need it to knock back. And I like to kind of push in some highlights. And some shadows. Oh my God, sorry.
Oh, that's nice.
That is it.
That's pretty nice. Got the little shadows underneath there.
Now while I'm here, well, I guess this can be kind of its own little moment in the snow.
Now, when you're working your whites there, are you using
And no
are you
glazing medium or anything. This is just the brush, and it's thinned a little bit with water.
are you using the clean water for that, or the yellowy water?
Yellowy. Oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Yellowy water. I haven't changed it yet. The yellowy water isn't pigmented enough yet to throw. It's just there's this weird moment where I'm like, oh, I know it's gotten too much there. Okay, so let's call that a step. When we come back, I'll show you how to get the fairies kind of in.
Okay. There's that step.
There's that step. So I'm going to take my detail brush and get into my fluid paint. I'm going to come right here. And then I'm going to make a little line. And I'm going to bump it out. Across from that little bump, I'm going to put an ear. Again, you can use the traceable if this is not fun. I'm going to join that right there. And I'm sketching out the hair of the little fairy.
Yep.
Right. This one I just have kind of a little circle here.
Yeah.
But the hair kind of comes up and is like this. This one is another bump.
Whoops. I was looking over at the chat.
It's okay. So this is like a simplified swirl face. We could come in and we'd bump out for a little cheek. Where the bump is, you come directly across and set an ear. Arc up. And again, a little bit of kind of updo. Kind of sketched out there. So this is a weird little paint sketch that I do. Now I'm going to get onto my grass comb. I'm going to come here. Brush this down. Kind of tap there. And sometimes I'll come in and kind of catch some of the hair, even now. On the edge. And then around.
Terry was curious if you could use Posca pens for the sketch and fine line work.
Yes, I tested that on this.
Hold on.
And you can. So.
Oh, you did the lining with the
Yeah.
Posca?
Yeah, this is the one that's actually for sale on the website, and I did the lining with the Posca to see what I thought of that.
Huh.
And then my daughter went and stole my Poscas. Oh, my child. Because it was the eldest one stole Poscas. Came right in and was like, oh, are those Poscas? I like Poscas so much. Do you need those? As I can get more. So that's how I'm making kind of like the airiness of those wings. Come here to the head. And again, I'm using just the grass comb and this white paint. S curve here. And already you see it's kind of like a very fairy shape.
Mm-hmm.
Curve those around. And let those little ends, those little tendrils kind of tendril off. Another little wing coming out in a loop. These two layer over each other, so I'll have to put that wing back once I put her dress in. So I may throw her dress in right now.
Yeah.
And then put the wing back over. It won't be at all a problem once the pink is on and the blue is on, just right now. Trying to make sure I know where I'm going when I'm ready to go there.
Does it matter which way you store Posca's pen, tip up or down?
I would read their website. I'm not familiar with there being a reason, but sometimes stuff like that is important. Like for a lot of pens, storing tip down is important.
I see them
For
stored
others,
horizontally oftentimes.
yeah,
In the little
horizontally is
bins.
good. That's always a safe bet.
Little, you see little racks of them, kind of all where the tips, because the tips have colors and numbers. Either that, or you see them with a tip up in a bag.
All right.
I don't know.
So believe it or not, this here, right, is the basis for this. I'm going to dry this really well.
Okay. She's going to dry it really well. Dry. Get it thoroughly dry for us. And don't use heat. Someone asked, don't use the heat, and they don't use the heat because the heat causes the material to get soft and sticky, and it can cause drag on your paint and discoloration on lower end paints. But, you know.
All right. New step.
New step.
So one of the things at this stage I do like to do is drop a shadow under the fairies. I'm going to take my ultramarine blue, and this brush is damp, and mix a little of the quinacridone magenta into it. And I'm going to come underneath this fairy and lightly brush out a little bit of a shadow coming back. Idea is that the mushroom has enough of a light to it that it's causing them to sort of do that. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very light effect. And if you do it now, when you layer the dress over, it'll look pretty spectacular. Okay. I'm going to take, I'll do my number 4 round. I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone magenta into my titanium white. Pick it up on the toe. Paint in the faces. Just paint in the little pink faces. And that's just my painting. You can change up your painting, what fits you. I think it's very important. Then we all feel that freedom in our art to customize things so they reflect us and our lives. So on any of my paintings, always feel like you can do that. All right. Are we eating fairies over here on YouTube? What?
I hope not. Fairy tales gone dark.
It went real dark. I'm going to now add the phthalo green. No point in putting it out early because this is how late in the game it was going to come out. I'll put a little phthalo green out here. I've got pink. My goodness, I put this cap on and said it will never come off again. I'll put some there. And I really tried to, I don't know if this is a tip of the hat to Sleepy Beauty, but I like the idea of the colors of these guys. So I did do the pink and blue and green. And that's also even a little power puff, isn't it? So I'm going to do that. I might get into some cleaner water just at this stage, just to make sure everything is bright. Still a number 4 round. And I'm going to grab green and just a little bit of my yellow in it. So it's still a pretty good green. Make little curling brush strokes to kind of be the hair. Maybe it curls in a little bit. And definitely some little curls up here. And on your paint, sometimes that white underneath can help it be brighter in a couple areas. If you don't need it, it's never a problem. If you do need it, man, you really want it, you know? And go ahead and get a little of my phthalo blue. It's okay if there's some titanium white in that. Little curls up there. Get a little more pure phthalo. Rinse out. And let's get a little of the pink, but on the pink I'll add just a smidge of the ultramarine blue to kind of almost deepen it to a purple. That way we've got some room. Like a little bit of hair out there. That's that first basis. Now I'm going to head back towards the green, John. I've got my grass comb. You could use your dome blender. You can just use any brush you have. I'm going to take a little of my yellow and green together. On the edge and then back.
Oh, so Marilyn would like to know, can we chat about the watercolor YouTube channel on Discord, or is it only for acrylic?
You can chat about the watercolor Discord channel on you. Yes, definitely chat about it.
The only thing you can't do is advertise someone else's YouTube channel.
Please don't.
That would upset us, and we would tell you to stop it.
You can talk about
Short
my
of
mom's.
that, you can talk about anything you want.
Just and continue to add the green. You can see I'm brushing it down. Add just a little bit of yellow to the wing. And give a little white into that yellow and green and give some highlights to this now. So she's just starting to be like a little fairy that's like adrift in there. Give her like a couple little hands. Put that back. It's really fun there. Little tiny hand buds. Comes add a little white in to the yellow green mix. Tap that there a little bit. And then stroke that back. So I'm just trying to create these little light layers of indiscreet, little weird little fairy moments.
I keep wanting to say saffron, but that's a spice.
Yes.
What's the
and is yellow.
Shim?
Peridot?
No, there's some other kind of like sheer fabric.
Chiffon?
Chiffon. That's it. It's not saffron.
You can add some dark green at the base of the wings, and you can. Contrast is always good if you want to create layers.
Although if you were to talk to Gargamel, he would prefer that they...
Gargamel is like, should be on trial for crimes against life forms. Seriously.
Oh, right. And Baby Yoda gets a pass.
Baby Yoda does not get a pass. We were all horrified. That was the whole point. Now, I can come in at this stage with a little detail brush, and I think it can be helpful to kind of come in and just give her little fairies, little curls. And she's pretty cute. She's not bad. All right, let's come over and work on blue a bit. Blue needs a little blue. Take some white up here to blue. All right. So I'm going to get a little of my white and blue mixed together to a light blue. Add some little highlights to the hair. I can come back with pure phthalo and play with the little curls too. What's funny?
Harry says, my dad used to root for Gargamel. He hated the Smurfs. It was my sister's and mine favorite cartoon. I like the Smurfs. I think that there's...
Bring my grass comb again in for the wings.
As long as you don't go too deep into the story and think too hard about it, it just be like, yeah, cute purple, blue little people. Don't think too much more about that. That they're being systematically hunted to be eaten by...
I have to actually put my pink in before I can put her blue wing in if I want it to layer correctly. So I'm going to stop for a second, rinse out, and get my pink on my comb. Just make sure that that basis is there. Because otherwise... it won't look right. A little bit of white into it. See, there we go. And that way, when I put her wing in there, we won't be like, what? A little blue and white. Little curve to those strokes. These are just little energy, little light beings that have come to celebrate in the snow. Now I can always mix a little green into my blue and get kind of a neat turquoise, which is always a wonderful accent to the blue. See? Isn't that pretty? A little blue on here. And if you did not enjoy the comb to do the wings, you could just do a round brush.
Or if you have a old brush sitting there in the corner, you could give it a haircut.
You could give your brush a haircut.
I mean, it's that time of year. You're going to be hanging out, not doing a whole lot, looking around going, man, there's family around. I got to be busy giving my brush a haircut.
I made a little turquoise, add a little green and yellow to it so I can come in here into the hair and
Void where prohibited, don't use scissors.
well,
I don't know.
put a little bright yellow there. Just so it becomes kind of turquoise green. Come back with a little dark blue. Blue fairy.
You know, do you have a favorite Christmas movie? Everyone's sharing theirs here.
12 Crazy Nights by Adam
Oh, yeah.
Sandler.
I mean, Die Hard's an easy go-to for me. But to be honest, the one that I miss the most is Gremlins.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really
That
great
one was
Christmas
also
movie.
really good.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I understand it's not a Christmas movie with Adam Sandler. It's actually a Hanukkah movie, but it's my holiday movie I like to watch. It's the holiday movie I go to. I'm going to add a little of that kind of dark purple that we mixed to this. Get my brush wet. Kind of loop that around. So her wings are a little bit more in motion.
There's a new thing where people create little accounts and they come in here and they're trying to share their new dots.
What are their dots?
Like different dot domains.
Oh,
So-
no, that's a problem that YouTube's having. You just report those.
I just delete them. They just get the
Yeah.
ban hammer. Like,
Yeah, it's just a computer algorithm that does it. It's not even a person or anything.
it's not even a human.
It's not even a human. It is in no way personal.
The ban hammer swings indiscriminately.
It can. I think I'm going to get into my detail brush for her pink hair. Get some light pink. Her little bangs go out. A little ruffle at her neck. I can also always like put a little yellow into my brush where the pink is involved and create a warmer pink. Okay. So that is the basic fairy figure, and then how they all become what they are is very at the very, very end. So we'll call that its own step. Just make your blue swirls. Swirls it is.
Swirl.
Crystal Blake, why it won't allow me to post because he keeps telling me I have not claimed my account. Oh no!
You could check out.
No,
That's
aspirant.
That's going to be
Those are
something
interesting
to do
emojis.
with.
You could show those emojis. I approve those emojis.
There we go.
There we go. Emojis are okay. Spam is not. Emojis are okay. There we go. No aubergines or peaches. So I'm going to thin my black. Did we put the step up?
I did.
Okay, so I'm going to thin my black with my detail brush, and I'm going to come here. And I'm going to make a little pair of black dots for eyes. Just little black dots. And then I might bring back a couple little lashes. Thinning out. I'll do the same on the other side on the green fairy. Just on the toe of the brush. Couple little lashes. And come into the white and magenta. And I'm going to make a little curved bow top, curved bow bottom, curved bow top, curved bow bottom. Now I'm going to get in same detail brush. Same detail brush. And I'm going to add a little reflection dot inside the eyes.
Whoa.
What's whoa?
That's just I'm getting down on the dots. Oh,
A little reflection dot inside the eyes. It really helps.
really does.
Then I'm going to tip my brush with a little bit of white. And I'm going to outline the wings.
Who gets to the band hammer first? Is it me? Don't accidentally ban anyone else. Just the pesky ones.
The pesky ones. Thank you, Crystal Blake. I'm going to loop this around here.
Oh, yeah. And so you guys know it's open season on the dot tech people. You don't need to put them in timeout. Just hit them with the band hammer. They're robots.
Yeah, it's not people.
Sorry, if any of you test this and share a dot tech link, just know that we have indiscriminate swinging of the band hammer.
Yeah, we don't do any dot links. That's in the rules, though.
Yeah. Be warned. Season is open.
We have to hand do it because I have loose enough moderation on here. I have enough moderation to prevent hate speech automatically, what YouTube automatically does. But I try to let you guys like be able to tell a joke or, you know, do stuff. I'm coming in and I'm just doing little lights, little lines. Aren't those pretty when she gets her little lines? And on the faces is another area you could do little Posca pens if you wanted to. Trying to
And
show a little flowing of the dress.
Because we love all of our peoples,
Mm.
if for every reason you get accidentally clipped by the band hammer,
Yeah.
email support at theartsherpa.com.
He'll fix it.
We'll help all the humans get it fixed.
If you were like, no, I'm a human. I was at work and they were making me share links, but I really want to learn how to art. Can I come back? Right.
Absolutely.
We'll help you get a new job painting.
I think we were talking about sending notes for work earlier.
Have we had to do that yet?
I haven't seen anything, but I'll keep an eye on it.
How's it going, guys? You enjoying your little fairies? Tomorrow's going to be an interesting lesson because we're going to paint on watercolor paper with watercolor techniques using acrylic paint. We don't need different brushes. You don't need a different palette paper, right? All the usual stuff. The only thing that'll change is I'm going to be doing it on a 9 by 12, 140-pound watercolor block. And you are going to be blown away by what you can do. It's the first time I've done it on the channel. I figured, hey, it's the last painting of the year. Let's go big. Let's do something special. Something you guys haven't done before. So definitely don't miss that one just because you might really enjoy the techniques. See, they're just little lines just to show that the shape and energy of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm all done, I can do this thing and go get a little pink if I feel like it. And add a little circle to the cheek if I feel like it. I think I have too much hair there, so I have to kind of blend that back on both sides there. So just a funny thing that I can do. And you can come in and detail, like make little detail changes to the faces. So like I moved the hair down because she had too much forehead. She went too Klingon. Sometimes that happens. It just got too much forehead. Okay, there we go. How's that look, guys? It's a little fairy painting at the holidays.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Now, I'm going to sign it so John can get the last step photo. I guess yeah. So you can get this because I'm going to also show you guys how to add snow.
Oh, is that a non-step step?
It's a that'll be a non-step step. The hidden snow cookie.
Huh.
Just in case you want to put snow, you know, on it. Or we can meet a Discord and do it.
No,
No.
I don't know how to do that yet.
Okay, I don't know how to do that either. Okay, so I'll just show you here.
Okay, well, you done?
Yeah, done.
Oh.
It's a finished. We've signed it. We finished it, but I'll show you how to splatter some snow. If you pay with me for a while, you know. But just in case you came by and you're like, you know what that needs? That needs a little snow. Needs a little snow all over, so it's like sprinkling snow all over them. So I'm gonna put up my fluid paint.
Let me see here. I wonder, is this... Okay. Let me. You want to?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Whoop.
So there you go. It snowed a little bit too.
There you go.
Sometimes you just need a little snow. Ah, that's the most wintry it could be. Was that fun? I cannot wait to see yours. I really look forward to that. Definitely share in Discord, on the Facebook group, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I don't want to miss it on TikTok, so tag me in or let me know because it's kind of cool over there. If you like do a duet with one of the things, let me know. I hope you're good. I'm good. We're good, and we're hoping you're good. I want to see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for this. We haven't done it before lesson on the channel of a chickadee on a snowy branch where we're going to do it on watercolor paper with watercolor techniques using only acrylic paint and acrylic brushes. So I think it's going to be a really cool thing, and you're going to be really about it because it's a whole new kind of background and effect, and it's going to open up a lot of new stuff for you. So don't miss it. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you and Anisel really soon. Bye-bye.